So in this video, we'll just take a first look at this mouse here from Steelseries. Best esports mouse, apparently, by PC Mag here. So this is the Prime Wireless. And I really wanted to try this for some time, because I do miss a little bit of an ergo shape when I'm doing any kind of first-person shooter. I do have a super light from Logitech, but I just found my grip just shift a little bit too much when I'm inside a game. Hoping this one will be a little bit better, even though it's also significantly heavier. I've really become used to that super lightweight there from around the 60 grams, versus like this is closer to 80 grams. So maybe a little bit better ergonomic will make up for the extra weight. But anyways, only really way to tell is of course to try it out. And yeah, it's on sale right now, so couldn't really resist picking it up. And like I said, of course, this is the Prime Wireless Steelseries mice. So we look around the box here. So it is a little bit different in terms of the little dongle you connect into a computer. It's actually USB Type-C. A little bit unfortunate because most of the USB plugs in my computer and in my USB hubs is USB Type-A. So a little bit annoying, but you will of course get around with that. You can also of course just use the included cable and the little adapter there. I would have liked to just see regular USB Type-A for the little wireless dongle, and then have USB Type-C on the mouse itself. But this of course does have some kind of optical magnetic switches that I'm very curious to try out. Definitely a little bit different than other mice out there on the market. And yeah, does weigh around the 80 grams. So a little bit information here on the back. We do have up to 100 hours of battery life. So that's kind of nice. And we do also have a little bit of RGB, I believe only really in the scroll wheel. But yeah, there's no RGB other places on the mouse to my knowledge. So yeah, only the scroll wheel, like I said, does have some RGB there. Don't really care too much for RGB. So let's get into this box here. Of course it is nicely protected here. Let's just cut through this seal here first, and there's also some tape there. Let's just cut through that. And let's just see what we get in the box here. So a little bit of a protector there in the top of the lid for the mouse to rest nicely inside the case. And the mouse right off the bat is nicely presented here on top of the packaging. And yeah, I do think this shape here will be nice for me. Oh yeah, definitely. I do feel it already. I do feel the weight, definitely. But man, it just fit right inside my palm, which is not something I can say with the super light. Kind of try to hold it inside my palm, or the palm grip, with this like my preferred grip. But after some time using this in a first-person shooter game, I just find myself using it like this and not like this. So it's kind of not resting against the palm here, or inside of my palm. And it is like all the way to the side here. So I think this will definitely be a little bit better for me. So I won't like feel the need to hold the mouse like this, a little bit crooked, like I just tend to do with this super light. But anyways, let's see what else we get in the box here. Of course, some packaging, very thick packaging actually. We do get some information here. Prime Wireless, product information guide. And of course you have information about the product, which is like what is said on the front of the lid, or on the front of the little quick start setup here. And this apparently can be used on both Windows, but also on Mac, of course, and also Xbox. So that's pretty decent actually. You do also have a DPI switch on this one here, and on-off button, of course. The DPI switch is of course nowhere to be found on the Pro Superlight, but don't really use it that often, so not really a deal breaker. And battery level indicator, I believe is the scroll wheel, will just turn red when there's less than 5% left, yellow when there's between 6 and 10%, and everything above 11% battery life, it will just show green. So that's nice. You can quickly just see if there is enough battery to get you through your gaming session. And you do also get a USB Type-C cable. Actually feels kind of nice, very flexible. Surprised me a little bit. These like generic cables from manufacturers tend to be a little bit on the stiff side. So it's definitely nice, not only that it's braided, but also that it is very flexible. And yeah, we do have, of course, USB Type-C here to charge the mouse. Goes into the front of the mouse like so. And I could suspect you will find some issues with some plugs, because it does fit perfectly inside the mouse here, this specific plug. So if you have a wider plug, you maybe run into issues if you want to use it with another cable. And then of course on the other end we do have just standard USB Type-A with a little Steelseries branding there on top. And let's dig a little bit deeper here. Open this for glory. I don't know why You didn't want to write that stuff on the box, but anyways, this is where you find a little adapter and of course the wireless transmitter or receiver, and they are pretty hard to get out, and that's all we get inside the box, so let's just get rid of that. So you do get an adapter from USB Type-C to USB Type-C, so if you want to use the included cable here, you can do so. Of course, plug one end in here, and the other end you'll just plug in that transmitter there or receiver. So if you only have USB-A on your computer, this is of course an easy way to get around that. But else, of course, if you have a MacBook, this is ideal for that scenario. But like I said, most computers, like desktop gaming computers, still only have primarily USB Type-A. I believe I only have one USB Type-C on the back side of my computer and one on the front. So you can of course also use a USB hub like this with a built-in USB Type-C if you want to get around that. But that's just one minor annoyance I have with this kit here. I would have preferred that maybe they have like an adapter built into this receiver here. So maybe it was USB Type-A and you can kind of remove the USB Type-A plug, and then you have USB Type-C underneath, so you can use it with both. Because you can kind of go out and buy something like this, which is a USB-A to USB-C adapter. This is just a cheap one, and you don't really need any high speed here. It's just USB 2.0. So if you want to plug it directly into your computer, you can get an adapter like this. But again, I wish that Steelseries maybe had like built something like this into this actual receiver, so you can kind of remove this part, and then you'll have USB Type-C underneath. That would have been kind of cool, but yeah, they didn't, and you kind of have to use the little adapter that's included. It is a weighted adapter though, so it will stay on your table pretty okay, and nice rubber underneath, so it will stay pretty well in place, but definitely don't really like this design choice here. And other than that, of course, the adapter is relatively big, and it does also have dual frequency, I believe, so it will switch automatically to a different frequency if you end up having issues. So you shouldn't really lose connection to a mouse no matter what you do really, because it will automatically scan the area and will just switch to another frequency. And since it has dual frequency, you can just stay on one frequency and switch to another one, and then you don't lose any connection to your mouse. And there's also a little bit of a Steelseries branding on there. And of course, onto the mouse itself, it is made, of course, entirely of plastic. It is not a soft touch plastic. It is, yeah, hard surface plastic, but it does have some texture to it. Actually, it looks kind of nice, a little bit stealthy or matte black rather. Those buttons definitely feel a little bit different. Not bad, but just different. Does need a little bit more force to actually attenuate them, but you definitely feel that you have clicked the button more confidently compared to like something like the Superlight. Definitely also nice buttons on those, but don't really get as satisfying of a click. Do also need a little more force, but yeah, once inside the game, I don't think I will actually notice. Scroll wheel feels pretty decent. Maybe not as clicky as the Superlight, but I think it will be fine enough win game. And what I've heard some people report is that the press down on the scroll wheel button there is very hard to press, and definitely I can confirm that. It is definitely a very hard press that is needed to, yeah, use that button. Then of course, you do have small buttons here on the side, which is very small. Definitely need to get used to those. I don't think they will cause any issues. But man, that scroll wheel, definitely do need to press it very hard. That's definitely something I need to get used to. But right out the bat, that ergo shape there, oh, that just feels so nice, even though it is heavier than of course the Superlight. I think that extra level of ergonomic will definitely suit my hand a little bit better. Of course, only time will tell. I need to get into some actual gameplay. So around the mouse here, we do have a Steelseries logo here. No RGB, of course. And of course, we do have the two side buttons, which are relatively small, but do have like a triangle shape to them. So they do stick out and you can kind of feel them with your finger. Nice groove there for your thumb to rest. And those buttons there, optical buttons with a magnet and some springs inside. Looks kind of advanced when you look at the photos online. And of course, USB Type-C plug here in the front. Like I said, should probably take note of the size of this plug here, because anything bigger won't really fit. It's a little unfortunate. So you kind of need to use cables with a relatively small plug if you want to use something else. But I think the Steelseries did this to just like protect the plug a little bit, so the plug itself will of course stick a little bit into the mouse, and the frame of the mouse will kind of hold the plug a little bit in place, so you won't put as much strain on the actual USB Type-C plug underneath. So it's not a bad design by any means, but you just need to make sure you have a cable or a plug that is the same size or smaller. Nothing of course on the right side other than that nice ergo shape. I really look forward to try that out. And on the bottom side here you do have these feet here. I believe these are pretty good feet, but correct me if I'm wrong. You do have a DPI switch button there, and you also have of course the on button. Let's just see if there's actually any power. You can see the wheel there is flashing, searching for that receiver, and of course just turn it off again using the little switch there. So no Bluetooth built in. Would have been nice to see Bluetooth as well, so you can use it without the little receiver. But yeah, other than that, I feel like this is a very nice design mouse. I like the shape, definitely. First impression feels very nice. Feels like it made totally for my hand there, compared to like the Superlight, where it's like I have a lot of gap in here. I don't know if you can actually see that, but a lot of gap in there. And like I said, when I'm game, the mouse just tends to switch a little bit like this. So I won't really hold it like so, but I will hold it more like so when I'm inside the game, because I don't really have the best support right here. And you know, I am a palm gripper. I try to claw grip this mouse here. It's just not for me. And this one, a little bit different. A lot of support here on the side, and also a lot of support on the inside here. So I hope this will definitely feel much better inside a game. And in terms of weight, of course, supposed to weigh 80 grams. And you can see it is just above that at 81.1 grams. So a little bit heavier. Would I like to see them claim maybe 81 grams in the specifications instead of 80 grams? But I'm not really sure. You will kind of feel 1 gram of difference here. And in terms of dimension, let's of course just measure it. So it is a relatively big mouse. You can see around 224 millimeters in length and around 61 to 67 at its widest point. And it's also relatively thick, at least here on its thickest point at around 40 millimeters. So for my hand, I have a relatively large hand. It definitely feels perfect for my hand, but it may be a little bit large for some. So they also have a mini version of this one out. But anyways, this was just a first look and unboxing of this mouse here. On a later date, I will do a proper review of this mouse here. But as of now, I just wanted to unbox and have a first look at this one here. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope to see you again in a future one. Until then, take care.